Well, good morning again, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Andrew Bottom, and I am the Associate Director for the Global Internship Program at the UCLA International Education Office. And I'm here with my colleague. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Will Cillier, and I am the Associate Director for International Programs and Scholarships with IEO, our UCLA Study Abroad Office.
Awesome. Thank you, Wilsey, for joining me today. We'll get started here and talk about the Global Internship Program at UCLA. So first, before we go into the meat of today's presentation, just wanted to let you know a little bit more about our office in case you are new to the International Education Office. We are the one-stop shop for everything study abroad related. So there are various programs you've probably started to learn about throughout this GLOW week, or you will start learning about if you haven't already. We have different advisors for each of our programs and coordinators. And so the International Education Office is the place that if you have any questions about studying abroad, it's where you'll want to go. We also have the ability to connect you with study abroad returnees. So if you want to get a student's perspective of what it's like to study abroad or intern abroad, we can connect you with student returnees who have had that experience in prior years. This presentation about the Global Internship Program is part of our Global Learning Opportunities Week. So again, feel free to go to our website, ieo.ucla.edu/glow, where you can find more presentations on anything from scholarships, financial aid, to some of our more specific programs like today's Global Internship Program, as well as other resources you might want to use throughout your time at UCLA in order to study abroad. So today's presentation, we'll first start off talking a little bit more about study abroad and COVID-19. I know that's a question on everyone's minds. We'll discuss why you might want to intern abroad. We'll do a program overview of what the Global Internship Program is, talk about the application, selection, and placement process. We'll discuss the different program locations and program funding options. So study abroad and COVID-19. So one thing that's great about this year is that study abroad is back. So already fall 2021 programs are in person once again. So we already have students on the ground in different countries around the world completing some study abroad programs. The Global Internship Program is only for summer. So it'll start summer 2022, but it's good to know that we already have some programs on the ground. It's also very important if you are interested in studying abroad this upcoming summer or anytime throughout the year, and you have not renewed your passport or you need a new passport, that you do so immediately. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a backlog with the US State Department. So if you are applying specifically for a US passport, it's now currently taking between 4 to 5 months to complete that process from door to door. So we suggest that you start that process as soon as possible. In addition, if you want some more information about how UCLA IEO is focusing on mitigating any COVID risks, we do have a COVID-19 specific session that we've created already. It's on our on-demand session as a part of the GLOW program. So please go to our website, again, the GLOW website, and under on-demand, you will be able to find more information about how UCLA IEO is mitigating the risks of COVID-19 during study abroad. Why intern abroad? So there's many reasons that students might want to intern abroad. First might be to gain a competitive advantage in the international job market. Also might be to increase your industry knowledge of your field of, your career interest, your career field. Strengthen your communication and team building, your adaptability skills. Great opportunity to globally network with your colleagues abroad, expand your worldview. In the case of global internships, you're making progress toward your academic degree, also experiencing a new culture firsthand, and just boosting your confidence, being able to work, not just study, but also work abroad is such a great thing to do and have the opportunity to say you've done. And it's a great resume builder as well. So let's do a quick little introduction here to the Global Internship Program. So the Global Internship Program occurs in the summer only from mid-June to mid-August. It's 8 weeks long of an internship and 10 weeks long of online courses. So the career fields that are available for the Global Internship Program include economics, education, engineering, global affairs, which includes global health, global studies, international area studies, and IDS. So all the International Institute majors and minors are included in global affairs, political science, and public affairs. The units that you'll get from these programs are between 4 to 8 units. There is a mandatory course that I'll talk about in a second here for 4 units, and an optional course that will give you a total of 8 units for the program. All of these internships are academic and unpaid, and include both in-country options and virtual options. The internship hours for those in country are 32 to 40 hours per week, and those who are doing a virtual program will complete 20 to 30 hours per week. The eligibility criteria for the program for a UCLA student is to be a UCLA undergraduate student. You must have a minimum of 90 units completed by the end of spring 2022. Units can include transfer or AP credit. Your cumulative GPA should be of a 3.0 or above. If you're a transfer student, that's okay. We ask that your UCLA GPA, once you get to UCLA and you have those transcripts from fall and winter, that those maintain a 3.0 GPA, and we can ask for what your transfer GPA was when you came into UCLA. And of course, that you are in good academic standing. As far as the courses are concerned, the coursework will follow the summer session A 10-week calendar. So from June 20th to August 26th, the online courses are the 195C or 195 CE internship courses, depending on your program. So basically it's an internship course that you're required to take that really helps you, get the full experience of your internship and kind of analyzing your experience. And you have a TA back on campus that's helping you with different readings and kind of focusing on, depending whatever your career field is, of taking understanding better how your internship has to deal with your field of study. Also, we provide the Intercultural Communication in the Global Workplace course, CSC 130, which is an optional course. Students who enroll in the optional course will have a total of 8 units. Many of our programs, depending on your major, may accept the optional course as a major or minor credit. It, again, depends on your major. But if you are enrolled in 8 units, you will become eligible for financial aid. So it's something really important to note. If you are interested in using financial aid for the program, you will need to enroll in both courses. As far as program search and selection, so our registration is coming up very, very soon. It begins on October 25th, so just around the corner. You can find the Global Internship Program on our website at ieo.ucla.edu/global internships. The program itself, again, will have the registration process going from October 25th through December 5th. It's not a first come, first served process. It's if you are applying for the program, then anyone who applies during that time of October 25th to December 5th will be eligible to submit their application, and we'll be reviewing those applications all at the same time. So it's basically you're submitting yourself into a pool of students, and at the very end, we will review those applications ourselves and our in-country partners. So let's say you're applying to a global internship program in Colombia, our in-country partners will also review your application, and we will do an advising session with you after you submit. So if you meet all the minimum requirements, we'll do an advising session for you to make sure that your career interests and your experiences line up with what is available in country. The eligibility criteria includes undergraduate student, again, 90 units completed by spring 2022, a 3.0 GPA, and good academic standing. This program is selective, so based on the approval of the IEO office and our in-country partners, we'll decide whether you've been selected for the program. Those selections usually occur the first week of January, so it can take about a month or so to get all the students to do those advising appointments with our in-country partners between December 5th and the end of the year. and space is limited in the programs. The selection and placement process. So one thing to note when you are thinking about applying is you will want to prepare both your resume, make sure it's current, it's spell checked, it's grammar checked before you submit. You also will want to make sure that you prepare your motivation to enroll questionnaire in advance. Our application system has no way to save your application while you are completing it. So please make sure these questions are actually located on our website. So when you are on your global internship program, you'll see a section that says documents to prepare for your application. And you can read these questions and then write them on a Word doc so that when you submit your application, you have all that information ready to go. So intro about yourself, something about your location of interest, why you're interested in the specific location you're planning to intern in, what your career goals are, and how they might match with where you want to go, and why you believe yourself is a good candidate. The selection process, how it works is you submit your application. As long as you meet the eligibility criteria, as I mentioned, you will attend an advising session with our in-country partners, who will again assess whether you're a good match for internship possibilities in the country. If you're accepted into the program, we'll let you know that usually around first week of January, at which point you will be asked to place a $300 deposit in order to confirm your spot on the program. Once you have confirmed your spot on the program and paid the remaining fees by mid-February, that's when your actual internship placement process begins. So you'll usually do another advising appointment with our partners in country. Then you will begin, then our partners will start doing their search for matches for you. So our in-country partners, their role in this whole experience is to assist you with housing on the ground, health and safety on the ground, as well as to match you with an internship site. And so they have a network of different internship organizations and companies organizations that will offer internships to university students. And so their job is to connect you with those companies and organizations and to set up a interview with them. So the interview will usually be like a Zoom or Skype interview. Once the interview has been completed, our partners in country will talk to you and say, hey, how did it go? How do you feel about the company? They'll ask the company as well how it went. And if it's a match on both ends, then you'll sign an internship contract, and then that will be your placement for the summer. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the fun stuff, the actual internship sites and locations. So the first program is economics that we offer. This is a new program. It's going to be taking place in Prague, Czech Republic. So placements will be including fields such as consulting firms, corporations, investment banks, government agencies. The internship course is the 195C course for this program. And then you actually have an option between a 199A economics course or the CESC 130 course, either or. You can't take all three just because you won't have enough time, but you can take either or, the 199A or the CESC 130 course as your optional course for economics. In the case of economics, in all of our programs, there are virtual options, which I'll talk about at the very end as well. For our education students, we have opportunities in Bogota, Colombia, and Cape Town, South Africa. These placements really focus on human rights, specifically in law, with NGOs, with nonprofits. You'll see, again, the 195 CE is your mandatory course, and the CSC 130 is your optional course. For engineering students, we have 3 locations, Bali, Indonesia, Berlin, Germany, and Osaka, Japan. The placements do vary by location, but they do include a lot of the major engineering fields. And so, when you look at the different websites for different locations between Bali, Berlin, and Osaka, you'll notice some of the differences. So whether you're a chemical and electrical engineering major, you might be more focused, I would say, on Osaka or Bali. Our IT students, computer science, hardware, software, Berlin. I'd say all the locations have this opportunity, but Berlin is really kind of a tech hub, so good opportunity there in Berlin. Engineering students will take the Engineering 195 course, and then again, the CSC 130 as the optional course. For students who are International Institute majors or minors, which we put in our Global Affairs program, we call it. We also have Public Affairs and Political Science. These three programs all go to the same 5 locations. The only difference really is the coursework. Your 185 CE course will be based on the program you enroll in. So if you're a poli-sci student, you'll take the poli-sci 195 CE course. If you're a global affairs track student, you'll take the international and area studies 195 CE student or 195 CE course. And if you're a public affairs student, you'll take the public affairs 195 CE. These locations include Bogota and Medellin, Colombia, Buenos Aires, Argentina, Cape Town, South Africa, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and London, UK. Placements really vary by location again, but include such placements as advocacy groups, economics, global health, international development organizations, NGOs, nonprofits, law, government and political placements, urban planning. And then virtual internships. All our programs offer virtual internships as a possibility as well. These include very similar sectors as they include the same programs that I mentioned prior, and include a lot of the similar placement sectors as well. There are some differences. So let's say you're an engineering major, it's hard to do some of the hands-on work, obviously virtually. So there are some differences in what's offered, virtually than in person, but you should definitely check it out if you are interested in doing a virtual program. These programs are still 8 weeks long and are 20 to 30 hours per week of actual internship work. Some students that do enjoy the virtual programs are students who maybe are planning to be home during the summer. Also, if you're looking to get a paid job, let's say during the summer, this allows you to do both at the same time. Also due to citizenship status, if you're unable to leave the country, it's a great way to connect with a international corporation or company abroad and work with them even while being in the US. So we've also seen just through this pandemic, a lot of organizations and companies are moving fully virtual. So it's also something you might see more often in the future as you graduate and start your career search. As far as funding options, so financial aid is provided for the UCLA Global Internship Program. So eligible students who normally receive financial aid should still be eligible for financial aid for this program. Financial aid includes grants, scholarships, and loans. If you are applying for the Global Internship Program and want to apply for financial aid, you'll complete your FAFSA or DREAM Act by the priority deadline for 2022-2023, as summer is technically the start of the next academic year. You'll also have a separate Global Internship Financial Aid form that will be completed by mid-February, which is when the payment deadline is. So in the case of a financial aid student, you'll put down your $300 deposit and then submit your financial aid application or your financial aid form by February 11th, I believe it is. And that will solidify your spot in the program. And then once your aid is dispersed towards June, that will be how it will pay for the program fee. Again, students must be enrolled in 2 courses to be eligible for financial aid. Scholarship opportunities. So in addition to financial aid, there are scholarship opportunities for these programs. Our main scholarship is the UCLA Global Internship Scholarship, which is available for any student who is financial aid eligible and on the program. You can receive up to $3,000 for in-person placements and up to $1,000 for a virtual program. The Kramer and Siebert Scholarship is for students in the Global Affairs track only. Up to $2,000 is offered. For students who are going to do a program in London, there's the UK Scholarship for $1,500. And for students who are considered middle income, which you can look at our website about what a middle income student, like the salary, I guess the ranges as far as family income, you can get the Wang Middle Income Scholarship for up to $2,000 no matter which program you are doing. Some external scholarships to be aware of, specifically the Gilman International Scholarship. This is for any Pell Grant recipients. Gives between $2,500 and $5,000 for students who are studying abroad. I would say on a national level, I think a quarter of students who apply do receive the scholarship, but UCLA specifically has had a really successful time with getting students to qualify for the scholarship and to receive it. I know last year we had a very, very high success rate, maybe the highest I've ever seen. It was probably about 70%. That's really not normal, but I would say we definitely have a higher than the 25% average nationwide for students who apply to the Gilman that do end up getting it. Again, it's for Pell Grant recipients. The Diversity Scholarship The Diversity Abroad Scholarship Database is also a great opportunity or a great tool to use to find eligible scholarships that you might be able to apply to. If you are interested in learning more about scholarships, there's a presentation today actually at 2 p.m. Same on the GLOW website, how you found this link. You can find the link to the scholarships presentation, or you can visit our webpage at io.ucla.edu/scholarships, where you can search these scholarships a little bit more in depth. All right, so I know that was a lot, but I am here to answer any questions that you might have. As I go into questions, though, I did want to put up this listserv email or listserv information about a listserv newsletter here. So if you want to use the QR code, if you are interested in receiving updates from our center about programs, openings, the applications, application closings, just new updates about new programs that we might have, feel free to use the QR code here and to add your name to the listserv. But without further ado, if you have any questions, feel free to add those to the Q&A section and we will answer. Oh, sorry, I just wanted to mention that, I guess I was incorrect. We'll see who is leading the scholarship presentation. It's actually at 2:30 today, not 2 o'clock. So 2:30 today is the scholarship presentation. So any questions here? I see one question was, will all Zoom presentations be posted elsewhere later? This is already answered in the chat by Wilsey, but yes, all Zoom presentations for GLOW Week will be added to the GLOW website on our on-demand section. So if there's any presentation you can't see in person, you are free to view on the on-demand section. Another question is, what is the best format for the motivation to enroll questionnaire essay? Are you doing it, or motivation to enroll questionnaire is an essay format? Are you responding to each question individually? The answer to that would be yes, just respond to each question individually. And that's the easiest. It kind of parses it out a little bit and makes it a little bit easier for our in-country partners who will also be reviewing those to read. So I know the questions do have some similarities between them, but yeah, I would just say to respond to each of them individually. Students oftentimes ask how long their responses should be. I would say what would make sense is probably single space, maybe one full page would be sufficient. We've had students who will submit 3 or 4 pages, and that's just too much. So I would say, a full page, single space, answering the 4 questions is more than enough for that. Another question is there a way to get an estimate on how much financial aid we would receive? Unfortunately, the financial aid office does not provide estimates to students in advance, just because they don't want to provide you with the incorrect information. You're using a new FAFSA each year, so it could change from year to year. But your prior FAFSA might give you some idea of what financial aid you would be eligible for. Something to note for the summertime is that there is no Cal grant provided in the summer. The only grants that are provided are the university grant from the university, as well as the Pell Grant. So there is less funding that is available technically in the summer as far as grants. That means you will probably get a higher loan package in your financial aid package. So just something to note, it is pretty normal for students who are applying to any summer program, not just global internships, that you will probably have a higher loan percentage than you would during the normal year for your financial aid package. Another question was, can you repeat the point about the deposit being paid? Do you get a refund if we do not continue with the program? Great question. So the deposit is non-refundable. And so just note that you aren't asked to pay the deposit until after you do your advising session with our in-country partners. So how the process will work again is you will apply via our application. Then as long as you meet the eligibility requirements, you will attend an advising session with our in-country partners. If you're accepted into the program, then we will ask at that time to put down your deposit to make sure that you're committed to moving forward with the program. That will usually again happen around the first week of January. And then in middle of February is when the final payment deadline will be for the program. Another question is, can I apply for more than one program? Unfortunately, you can only apply for one program at a time. Something to note though is that when I do the initial review of your application, if I see that maybe, let's say you're an engineering major and you have specific focus in a specific engineering category, and it doesn't really match up with the opportunities, let's say in Osaka, but would match better in Berlin, then I'll try to give you some advice of maybe which program would be better for you within that career sector. But unfortunately, you can only apply for one program at a time. Another question, is there a way to know which programs are most competitive? It's hard to know from year to year, but you can always email me and I can let you know. Every year it's a little bit different of how the students' interests are, and this will be a very interesting year, obviously, as we've been in COVID, not being able to do in person the last 2 years. So it's something you would just probably have to email me and I can let you know if one is more competitive than the other. But unlike some of our other programs that are first come, first serve, global internships, again, is everyone is placed into an initial pool for your specific program that you apply to. So as far as you applying early or late, it doesn't really matter as long as you apply within the application period. The next question is, if the student is interested in participating in a program this summer, is it possible to choose a specific program to take to fulfill my degree requirements? And can the internship hypothetically be applied to any relevant major or minor? So the program itself has specific program courses that you have to take with the internship. So you aren't able to pick and choose any course that you want. So again, you'll have a mandatory 195 CE or 195 course, depending on the major that you will be taking, as well as the opportunity to take the CESC 130 course, unless you're an economics student where you have that 199A opportunity as an option. So in other words, the courses that are associated with the program are fixed. You can't choose any course outside of those that are offered with the program. As far as them counting towards your major or minor, on our website for each program, we do list of how the departments are currently accepting those courses. So if you are, let's say, a public affairs student, it mentions on the website under the curriculum section for each program how those courses are viewed by the department already. If you are a student, let's say, who's applying to political science or the global affairs program, and you are not an international institute major or minor, or you are not a political science major, and you want to know how those courses might apply to your specific major or minor, because those are the only two programs that are open to anyone, you would have to talk with your academic department and ask them, how those courses might apply, as that would be up to your department. Another question about the recording. This recording will be will be available on our GLOW website. So www.ieo.ucla.edu/GLOW. And then there's a section that says on demand on the website where you can find this presentation and all the others that are taking place throughout the week. Another question, is there a possibility my program may be canceled due to COVID-19? Great question. So, obviously, even though we're excited about programs going back, in person in the summer, still it's an environment that a lot of things can change. Our goal for this program is to, if there is a program that we view as being, unable to move forward due to COVID-19, would be to cancel the program prior to you having to put down your full fees. So prior to that, I believe February 16th is the drop deadline for the program. So our goal would be to, make that decision prior to February 16th. If it's the case that we are canceling the program as UCLA prior to February 16th, then your deposit in that case, we would refund to you if we canceled the program on your behalf. We also would try to do it early enough, though, that you could make decisions on changing to another location or to a virtual program if that was the case. For most of our majors, we do have multiple locations. So hopefully if one location, for some reason, we were unable to travel due to a change in the environment due to COVID, that there would be other opportunities for you that we could at least offer you. Obviously, the price will be different depending on each location that you go to, because London, let's say, is more expensive than going to Colombia or to Argentina, but we do hope that we can provide opportunities for you either way, both in person and virtually. Just to clarify, can any major apply for any program, or are we limited to the ones for each program, for each major? So The political science and the global affairs track, those programs, although they are geared towards students in the International Institute majors and minors and for political science majors, those are technically open to any student. Just note that the coursework will be the Poli-Sci 185 internship course. So you'll be looking at your internship from the frame of looking at how politics affect your workplace, or taking the International Area Studies 195 CE course. But you could be from a different major. So let's say sociology majors, for instance, have taken the global affairs track in past years, communication majors. So it does kind of depend. In the case of public affairs, economics, engineering, for instance, you do need to be in those majors to be eligible for the program. Is there a possibility that we get selected in the program and don't get the visa? So the visa, would be partly on your hands to get. They're depending on your citizenship. U.S. citizens for this program do need a visa in order to do the programs in Vietnam, and also to do the programs in London. And so there is a visa process associated with that. If you're a non-US citizen, you may be required to complete visa applications for some of the other sites that we do have available. Our on-site partners will be assisting you with the process of how to get a visa, but it will be up to you to actually follow through with that process. So, we'll be giving you more than enough time to go about the process to get a visa, but it won't be up to the International Education Office to complete that for you. So it is possible that you could get accepted to a program, and for whatever reason the immigration from that host country decides to reject your visa is a possibility, but it's not probably that likely. You will get supporting documentation provided by our sponsors. So whatever host company you'll be working with will provide documentation. UCLA will provide documentation. So we'll provide you everything you need to hopefully make it a smooth process. Any other last minute questions? Do we have to worry about getting a visa yet? Would it take as long as getting a passport? You don't have to worry about getting a visa yet. The visas you won't actually be able to apply for until you've been placed. So the visa process won't start until after February, when you would actually have, be officially in the program and the placement process would begin. So for those who are going to the UK, for instance, that visa process does take a little some time. And so our partners tend to try to place students as quickly as possible at those sites in order to make sure that, you can do the visa process in time for your program. Other visas, let's say the one to going to Vietnam, it goes pretty quickly. It's not a long process. So you wouldn't actually be doing that one. Maybe, I don't know how long it is. I think it's maybe a few weeks. So you might not be doing that one until April or something like that. Are the internships unpaid for work authorization reasons? So these are all academic internships. So yeah, in part it is work authorization. That's the main reason, I would say. It is a lot more difficult to work abroad for these programs. So there are other visas oftentimes you would need in order to be able to work and get paid abroad. So these are all academic internships. And so we hope that specifically if you are in some of those specific majors, or even if you're not and you talk to your home department, that those units would count towards your major or minor credits. So it's definitely something to talk with your academic advisors about, to hopefully make sure that the experience, you're not just getting the work experience, but also getting units that are useful towards your graduation date. Another question is, are international students eligible for internships abroad? Yes, international students are eligible for internships abroad. Like I mentioned prior, depending on the location that you are going to do your internship, there may be additional visa requirements that maybe US citizens wouldn't be required to do, but you are eligible to do an internship abroad. If for any specific reason your home country of citizenship had an issue with not allowing students to do an internship in that country, our on-site partners would let you know right away. So that wouldn't be something you would find out way later. They would know immediately once you apply if that would be something that you would have to be concerned about, in which case we would direct you to another program that you would be able to participate in. So I see another question. How safe is the program? Does the program have a good track record of student safety? So we work with providers, our partners that have done this for years. They work with university students, consistently throughout the academic year and throughout the summer. And so even though at UCLA, our program is generally pretty new, UC Davis, UC Berkeley, for instance, have also had very similar programs that have run for about 8 to 10 years. And so it's a pretty common thing that universities do provide these types of internship programs. It's becoming more popular as time goes on. We do vet our partners that are in country that are hosting you to make sure that you are safe when you're there. They do host other international students throughout the time who are also conducting internships. So you won't just be the only students doing an internship during that time. There will also be students from other countries or other universities around the US doing internships. Does the program officer assist with housing? Yes, so you don't need to find your own housing. They will be assisting with your housing. So you will basically be paying a program fee that will include your tuition, your housing, your international health insurance while you're abroad. And then things like your meals and your flight will be separate, and we'll estimate those costs for you on our website. But those will be things that will just be based on kind of your own spending habits and what sort of flight that you end up finding. We will inform you when to purchase a flight, because it's important, that you don't purchase one until we give you the go ahead. But we will give you some general estimates on cost on our website. You will have access to a kitchen throughout your time in your housing. So some housing you'll be in single, some you'll be roomed with one other student, depending on which location that you're in. That information is on our website based under each program. If you click on the on location tab, it will give you a little more information about your housing options. But yes, our on-site partner will provide you with housing. In most cases, our on-site partners do pick up students from the airport. There are a few programs where you do get to the housing on your own, but we do give you instructions for how to take the transit to get to your housing. So I'm going to move to the next slide in case, unless there's more questions. But as I wait, just wanted to let you know that the UCLA Education Office, UCLA International Education Office, we are taking currently virtual advising appointments only. So if you're interested in talking with an advisor, please go to our website at io.ucla.edu/contact. There you'll find information about drop-in advising, which we have daily. Also, you can find, I would be your advisor for the Global Internship Program. My information is below. You can see my email. But if you do have questions, regarding another program, you can also find what counselor to talk with there. I don't see any more questions currently. Again, this will be posted to our GLOW webpage on the on-demand section. If you have any questions that you want to follow up on, feel free to email me at abottom@ieo.ucla.edu. And I look forward to hopefully hearing from some of you in the future and to having you on a global internship program. Thank you, everyone.